Red Steel 2 is a bit of a mystery in that it really shouldn't even have the Red Steel name. The game is a total departure from the first game in every respect, from the graphics to the style to the gameplay. In fact, the only thing they have in common is they both have a main character that wields both guns and a sword. But change isn't always a bad thing. In fact, when something is as mediocre as the first Red Steel ended up being, change is probably a good idea. And I'm happy to say that this is exactly what the series needed. The story in Red Steel 2 isn't really anything special. It takes place in a futuristic ghost town named Galdera, and you play as a samurai cowboy who's never properly named. You're the last surviving member of a clan called the Kusagari that wield powerful katanas that are molded from some super special ore.
The Sora katana?
And a clan called the Jackals are after that sword because they want to make their own or something.
Finally, the last Kusagari. 12 down, 1 to go.
Red Steel 2 is absolutely gorgeous. It runs at a silky smooth 60 frames per second, is cel-shaded, which was a smart decision on the less powerful Wii, and it features some spectacular animations that really do sell the brutality of the battles you'll find yourself in, especially later on. Now, one thing you'll notice is there is no blood in the game, and that's to maintain a T rating, but to be honest, with the cel-shaded style and the graphic novel approach, you really hardly ever notice that there is no blood. Equal to the graphical presentation is the sound. Sword clashes and bullet ricochets abound, the feeling of the Wild West is brought to life with astounding attention to detail, and the soundtrack fits the action extremely well by dynamically cutting in and out of tense moments when appropriate. Dolby Pro Logic 2 is also supported and sports amazing accuracy with surround channels, should your setup provide for them. So Red Steel 2 definitely knocks the presentation out of the park, but the first game was pretty strong in that department as well, so all that means little if the gameplay doesn't measure up. Well, that's changed in Red Steel 2 as well, and as the first big test for the Wii Motion Plus, I'm happy to report it passes with flying colors.
I'm often asked, is Red Steel 2 going to be a sword fighting simulation? Will I be able to move the sword anywhere I want and do any motion that I make? Will that be completely replicated into the game? And the answer, of course, is no. For an action experience, it's actually not all that fun. I always ask, how good of a sword fighter are you? Because I'm not a very good one, right? And I think most gamers aren't.
As a result, the game has to be accessible to the most untrained person out there, so instead of being truly one-to-one, you rely on scripted moves that you perform by combining button presses and motions. The Motion Plus does detect your movements accurately by slashing as hard as you tell it to, which you can change in the options, and in the direction you tell it to, but for sanity's sake, the simplified controls that you end up with here are there for the best. They work well, and they're a lot of fun, and the game's creative director Jason Vandenberg and his team have done a tremendous job at creating a very satisfying combat system. So congratulations to them from me for really doing something that I consider to be monumental in gaming. As for the rest of the typical FPS options we've come to expect on the Wii, they're pretty much all there. You can customize 2 bounding boxes for turning, and the Wii Motion Plus even keeps track of how far off the screen you're aiming so your cursor doesn't get lost should you be pointing elsewhere. The only thing missing is that you can't customize your buttons, but honestly, I never felt the desire to do so because the default mappings work just fine. The game is single-player only, and it will take you about a dozen or so hours to complete should you find yourself trying to upgrade everything you can in the various shops. The storyline makes the game rather linear, but the world is open and you're free to roam about it however you choose. The unlockable challenge mode afterward is fun to revisit chapters of the game while fully powered up, but an oversight is that you still have to run through the mandatory training sessions, and that gets a bit annoying. The combat is pretty much all there is to this game, aside from breaking crates and barrels, so how much you like it will fall entirely upon how much you enjoy slashing and shooting. For me, I loved every second of it, and I'm already halfway through a second playthrough on the hardest difficulty. Ubisoft has created an addictive, ambitious, fun game for the Wii that proves the Wii Motion Plus is no fluke. Red Steel 2 proves that motion controls can indeed be an exhilarating addition to gaming. All it takes is a bit of creativity and ambition. Here's hoping the Move and Natal can deliver on the same level in the future. I give Red Steel 2 an A-. Thanks for watching this review. For more, you can check out ControlOutKill.org, listen to the Killcast every Friday, and check out our new podcast, which I'm on now, called Whatever with Don and Justin. It's a podcast about anything we want to talk about, though it is game-heavy because we're both big gamers. First episode is live now, and you can check that out on ustream.tv/FDupDon every Monday night at 9 p.m. It's also up on Control Out Kill for download afterward. Thanks for watching, and Until next time, game on.